I literally have no idea what I'm gonna do about this. All right, so on this segment of Sketchy Made, we're gonna try to figure out what I'm gonna do about my rusty floor in the 4runner. So yesterday I sprayed it with the OSFO stuff, but as you can see, this is already a little too far gone for that to do anything, because this is just coming apart here. This was a weird patch that I tried to do before, but of course welding to rust doesn't work, and I was going to weld onto this over, but since it didn't really stick very well, I need to now figure out how I'm going to cut this out, and either I'm gonna have to cut this out somehow. As you can tell, I'm still a little sick, so I need to figure out how I'm getting this rust out of here. And honestly, this side's worse because you can see the ground. Damn, I'm surprised that's on there that well. So it's just picking the whole thing up. So I don't want to put a giant hole in my truck, but there's also already a giant hole in here, so what's the difference, really? All right, so I do not have time today to actually cut this out. I have lunch with my family soon, so can't get too far into messing this up. So I'm gonna have to put all this back together, ignore it for now. I'm gonna have to get some metal, and I'm probably gonna have to get like a die grinder, because I think I'm gonna have to cut in here. I'm gonna have to come up with a plan and come back to this. I kind of went into this without planning anything, but that's how I usually do things. So come back with a plan and some metal, and hopefully we'll get some around this later. All right, it has been multiple weeks since I've gotten to work on the 4runner. It was Mother's Day, and then there was something else. There's a drift event coming up, so I had to get my car ready, and then I got sick, and then I got better, but then I got sick again, and boy. Anyway, we're looking at the 4runner again. Hopefully I can do that again. Oh, come on. Damn. Of course it's not gonna do it again. Oh, there we go. Ay, ay, ay. So I think we're gonna go ahead and cut this out. I think I can knock this out this afternoon, but I also think that's high hopes, because I need to cut this big patch out, because I need to use this section to weld back onto, and I want to extend this bucket over, and this all has to come out because I just put a hole. I didn't even drill that hole. That bit just fell into that one, and that's what I was trying to do again. But so yeah, this has got to come out, get cleaned up, and hopefully I can weld some fresh stuff onto it. There is no going back now, and I really have to do something because my exhaust is right there. Feels like it's gonna fall apart. This out of the way, maybe a little bit. All right, better than expected, honestly. Okay. inward. So I should be able to cut that out, hopefully. I wonder if those are, that one looks very thin. I don't think that's gonna be weldable. Preferably I cut it off. We didn't start the fire. Oh wait, yes I did. Oh my shit. All right, so a little insight. I bought these really cheap toolboxes. They ended up a little thinner than I was expecting, but hopefully it'll work. We're gonna try and make a little bit wider of a pocket here, as there is one in the 4runner. If you take out that plastic piece, you kind of get a little extra pocket. I turned mine into shelves, but now I would like to get a wider pocket because I put like my air pump in there and stuff, and the little factory thing right there is just a little too tight. So we're gonna try and cut this up to fit into here. I don't want to make it any wider than probably this line right here. That would probably come out enough, and then I have to trim it down so that we weld to back here somewhere. I probably got to get my plastic out of the way so I can squeeze it in there somehow. But yeah, that's what we're gonna try and work on here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like originally I was very against gutting it because, you know, it's a stock vehicle. It was semi nice when I first got it, but things keep happening. Like I had to take my headliner out because my windshield leaks. And that thing got soaked. It was holding all the water up there. So the headliner's already gone. And I took the A-pillars out because they attached to the headliner and it just looked silly with it right there. So those are gone. So everything, I just have plastic trim everywhere else just because it's still, like, it looks better covering that, I guess. But then you just have missing trim. Oh, hang on. You just have missing trim everywhere. Technically this piece could go back, so I guess it wouldn't be too bad, but I'll never be able to get the bottom trim back on because of how horrid everything is. I'd have to, I mean, I'd have to fill in a couple of these holes because they're rusted with something, and then rib nut them, and it would work. I feel like it's a lot of work for a piece of plastic. And then, you know, I did this, so this is cut forever. So I could just either take this off all the way, but that's kind of ugly. But also it's more room because the plastic takes up room. But it's ugly. I don't know. Constantly debating it. Oh well, that's not what we're here for. Back to what we're doing. And here's where I'm drawing a blank, because none of this is straight like I thought it was going to be. I thought there was a boxed frame here and a boxed frame holding the, I don't know what I thought was going to be. I thought there was a boxed frame here. I thought it was going to be flat. So my original plan was, when I cut this, I'd have the one side and it would sit up against the frame back here, and then this side would be enclosed over here. But none of this is straight, which I guess that might still work if I just cut this side down more, which I have to do anyway because I cut it too long for starters. But I could just cut this down so that this isn't there, and then I guess either side really, because this side is latched, but oh, I guess this side, because the flat side would be inside. Cut this down more, cut this down, and have it against the frame in there, so that is the wall for the box. Maybe? I'm gonna think about that. Alright, I've been winging it for an hour now, and while this is not exactly what I had in mind, it is something, and we're running out of daylight, so we're gonna have to get something in here to at least semi-cover the hole. So we're gonna tack this down in here, tack this piece here. Once this is tacked, I'll bend that out. I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do with this gap that I've made now. I probably shouldn't have done that, but hindsight's 20/20. And then I think I'm gonna get a C channel and run the C channel across here against this, and then I will cut this down to the height, and I'll weld something on the bottom. I'm going to weld one of these Daytona plates on the bottom of the frame of the truck to give it a little more strength to hold it up. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to weld this in. And no, I did not clean the paint off good enough. I cleaned it on the outside, didn't think about the inside of it. So hopefully this stays. All right. I got all this way to realize I fucked up. Big ol' hole. So now, all this is welded in. It's not going anywhere. I mean, I gotta figure out this hole, but I gotta figure out that other hole. Oh. Cool. All right, it is getting late and it is a weeknight, so I'm gonna finish here. I got this plate, that plate. I have to make a plate that goes across that because I cut that too far, and I would like to try to either bend it or make something that goes from across here and down into there so that it covers that. That would be nice. And then I have to figure out what I'm gonna do there, because that is a hole to the outside. I think I'm gonna get angle brackets and kind of feed them into that and weld them there. I think that'll be my thing for that. But this is pretty good. I guess I got further than I thought I was going to, but it's also very sketchy. I'm debating on doing a full sheet over everything. Or can I touch this yet? Nope, that's still hot. But it'll also, I'm gonna put a rug over it, so it's also not really a huge deal. But I'm gonna vacuum this up and then call this a night and get back to it another day. So stay tuned. Oh, but check it out. Here is this one rusty sheet I cut out. And this is what was the pocket. So this was the floorboard right here. Which this is what was underneath. Some of that is from welding it, but it was already super rusty. Obviously that was very rusty. I didn't need to cut as much as I did, and I acknowledge I messed up on that. I should have figured out where that was, but I just sent it. But oh well, I'll cover it up, it's fine. Oh, big old hole right there still too. Alright, so I ended up getting really caught up in a time constraint to finish the 4runner. So here it is. This is what I ended up getting done. So nice little pocket area down here. It's gonna get my tire inflator. It's gonna sit in there just like so. I guess I probably could have cleaned that up a little bit better, but whatever. So that sits in there now. Nice little pocket area for that. And got, this is a piece of big piece of steel, the C plate, or whatever the C channel, that's it. Got a new D-ring here. The OEM D-ring sat, roughly right here, so I put a new D-ring here if I ever got to tie something down inside the truck. And this is a piece of a Daytona jack, so that's kind of something. This is just a piece of metal right here, and I welded everything in and then put JB Weld on top of it as like a sealant, and then painted it poorly, but it's painted. So there we go. It is all in, and it's pretty solid. I didn't think this was going to be very solid, but it only had to, hold a very light weight, so I wasn't too worried about it, but it actually feels pretty good. So this is one side down. I did leave this open because this is now just like a pocket for my different hitches. And so I'll have to do the other side, but that's going to be a whole different video. And so I'm going to call this done, because it's no longer a gaping hole in the truck. It did start pouring, and I was getting more water inside the truck because there's just a hole here. So, well, I guess back here, but so I'm gonna call this done for now. The floor is done. I plan on getting different carpet or a rug or something to replace a lot of this with. I don't know if I'm gonna lay it over top or cut this off up there and get rid of it or not, but it'll be after I do the other side. So, but figured I'd give you an update. Yeah, I was in a rush to kind of get all this done, so I didn't film any of the finishing touches or anything like that, unfortunately. So this might not even be worth posting, but I'll go ahead and post it as a I did it kind of thing. All right, well, thanks. And I guess for now I am going to put my plastic back in, because I think it'll look better than this. This is more, I don't know, accessible, but it also looks terrible. So plastic's going back.